Hi, I'm Shine, and this is Divine Shine Tarot with a celebrity reading on Rihanna. After recently welcoming her first baby girl, will the pop star, mogul, and mother of three give us new music? And what's the current energy surrounding her friendship with her bestie Melissa? In this clip from my Hallow Weekend live stream, let's see what the cards have to say. Remember, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. No fact, no truth, just tarot. Timestamps are down below, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and leave me suggestions for readings you'd like to see from me in the future. Now, I ask that the spirit step forward to divinely guide my vision and messaging for this celebrity reading. Let's get started. So I wouldn't go for either of them, but let's dive into a reading of our Bayesian queen that did choose both of them. Riri, better known as Rihanna, chose both of them at some point in her past, of course. Currently, she is with A$AP Rocky, who she just had her third child with. Congratulations, Riri. She had that baby last month. In my first Rihanna reading that I did back in February before her birthday, I accurately predicted that Rihanna was going to be pregnant with a girl.
Looks like there might be a daughter in their near future. Congrats in advance on the new baby, and happy birthday, Riri.
3 months later, she announced her pregnancy, and 7 months later, she's welcomed her beautiful daughter, Rocky Irish. I also accurately predicted that her man A$AP Rocky would see a favorable outcome on his trial, as the cards indicated that the jury would come to a verdict quickly. And they did. So quick, in fact, that they reached a verdict before I could even upload my video. I'll link that reading on the screen for those of you watching this later. Now, I have a reading request from Donna Lane, who asked for an updated reading on Rihanna because Donna's actually bringing us a little tea. She said, what is Rihanna's energy and feelings towards her best friend Melissa Forde, who allegedly went to her ex Chris Brown's concert in LA last month, the day after Riri gave birth? Really? For those of you who don't know, Chris Brown and Rihanna have a very tumultuous and controversial history, and the aftermath of their breakup spilled over into the industry, where people took sides, people blackballed Chris Brown, and I don't know where it stands now. So reasonable to have a question about how would Rihanna feel about someone who's supposed to be her best friend going to his concert right around the time that she's giving birth to her daughter. Now let's continue with the tea. Donna Lane continues to say, Melissa Forde allegedly went to Rihanna's ex, Chris Brown's concert in LA last month, the day after Riri gave birth. Donna Lane alleges that Melissa had VIP backstage passes, and Melissa was also there to take one of the first pictures of Rihanna and her new daughter. First of all, thank you for bringing us this tea, Donna Lane. You are on your job, Donna. This is the kind of boots on the ground celebrity gossip that we like to hear. I love how plugged in and active my viewers are. It's a joy for me to see this small but mighty symbiotic community growing and thriving. I love this for us. Okay, so let's do an energy check on Rihanna. And remember, these readings are for entertainment only. No facts, no truth, just tarot. Spirit, how does Riri feel about her friend Melissa going to Chris Brown's concert? And will we see new music from Riri in the future? Hold on, let's see. Yeah, this came out in reverse. Okay, so we see the Three of Wands reversed, which indicates some sort of obstruction that's preventing progress, a blockage or setback, preventing growth or expansion. So let's say you, in terms of a relationship or friendship, you're thinking of taking your friendship or your relationship to another level, expanding upon it, because the Three of Wands is about scaling up after seeing initial success and laying the foundations of a plan for growth, commerce, expansion, taking something that's already working well and taking it further, expanding into more markets, or in this case, growing closer and more deeply invested in a relationship. But in reverse, this card indicates that there are blockages and delays or frustrations around the growth and progress of a relationship. They're stuck. Interesting. Let's see what else we get out. Ooh, okay. We have the 10 of Pentacles, which indicates a sort of challenge to one's long-term finances that disturbs the family foundation, such as disputes around inheritance or, in general, some deep financial instability that threatens long-term wealth. This is maybe a financial failure, maybe a loan or debt that hasn't been paid, something to do with impacting one's wealth or long-term investments. So off of these two cards alone, I'm already starting to think that maybe Riri and her friend Melissa maybe don't have the best relationship at this time. Something stopped them from growing together, and now they're either stuck or possibly growing apart. And maybe it's superficial enough for her to be there for such a moment to take a picture of the newborn, but if Melissa went to her ex Chris Brown's concert, it must mean her and Riri are no longer that close. So it's not viewed as a betrayal or disloyalty to Rihanna, since they can still be cordial and friendly enough for Melissa to be there to welcome the new baby, but they don't have this deep and long-lasting friendship like they once had. I'm also picking up on a wealth disparity because this 10 of Pentacles could also mean a lack of resources. Maybe Melissa's not able to keep up with Riri's billionaire budget and lifestyle and the demands and expectations that come with that. So that financial limitation may have caused some strain between them, because I imagine for Melissa to be included in most rich and fancy things, Riri would have to pay to include her. And even if you've got it, that starts to feel one-sided and draining after a while. So that may have become a problem in their friendship based off of these cards. So far, it looks like there are some blockages in that relationship, some hindrances or interferences, delays, misunderstandings. Their friendship didn't turn out as they had expected or would have liked. Things didn't quite go as planned. There's some interference or disruption to whatever their friendship could have been long-term. Whatever closeness they had built, their relationship is now either blocked, paused, stagnant, unstable, or regressing. Let's continue here with the cards. Okay. 2 of Pentacles indicates someone's also really busy. Someone is spread really thin and they're juggling a lot of things of value. It feels like this is actually Riri, who has a lot on her plate anyway, so she probably can't be bothered with ramping up a friendship with Melissa to parallel or match how they used to be. We used to see them in the paparazzi shots always enjoying a night out on the town, and I guess now that Riri is a mother of 3, she doesn't really have the time to entertain that kind of friendship anyway, so that's naturally, not that they're growing apart, but they're not necessarily investing and building up their relationship to where it would be growing and expanding, growing closer and investing deeper into the relationship to make it more long lasting. Instead, as I said earlier, regressing because Riri's busy, juggling a lot and spread thin. Let's see. Ooh, wait a minute. Who's not talking? This indicates that someone is not talking to someone else, or this could also indicate someone withholding their true feelings or some message that they're not getting across. They're not expressing their true feelings about something. I wonder who this is. Let's pull out a few more cards. I'm going to edit this later for those of you that, that watch the replay, because there's a lot of pauses tonight. I started my stream later than I expected. And after all of that hot or not abs and, all that eye candy, I guess my mind is a little off now. My energy is a bit askew. So excuse me for the pauses, but it'll be nice and cleaned up in the recorded versions. Okay. Ooh, wait a minute. Here we have the 8 of Cups. Okay, so the 8 of Cups indicates someone walking away from something that no longer emotionally fulfills them, something that no longer serves them, a relationship, an emotional connection that once meant a lot, that once held a lot of value in someone's life. Now it's time to walk away from that, experience a spiritual awakening, some soul searching, seeking something better, even though you don't know what better is. See how this person on the visual is going off into the mountains. So there is a lot of uncertainty, and that is a sign of how done you are with this, because you would rather go off into the unknown without any guarantees of finding something better than to continue with what you've known. Oh, so this so far feels like Riri and Melissa maybe are not the best of friends anymore. The same way these cards in the beginning indicated that they're no longer invested in the friendship the way it was before. They're no longer growing together. They no longer share this long-lasting emotional connection. This you and me will never part. We're in so deep bond or closeness. It's, again, Riri is so busy. She really can't be bothered, but also once people stop putting in all of the effort into a relationship, then yeah, naturally people drift off, people drift apart and start seeking something more, something better. Maybe Melissa doesn't have kids, and so she still wants to live a vivacious life, going out, trying to find her person, and Riri's on a different page, and so maybe they are no longer matching, and naturally everyone's going to go do what's best for them. So it's bittersweet because we saw how close they were back in the day, but we also know that people change in life. People's circumstances change, their priorities change, they have to reprioritize, things constantly evolve. And that's just a part of growing and being adults, adulting. Everyone's life is going to change once you have not just 1 kid, but 3 kids. So disappointed, but not surprised to see that. Yeah. King of Cups reverse. This is someone who lacks emotional intelligence, maybe even volatile, moody, unstable. So it's like someone that is emotionally unpredictable and inconsistent. Someone that pops off, or that you don't know what version of them you'll get. So you may feel like you have to walk on eggshells with them because they may get triggered easily. They may be very self-serving or manipulative. Someone that's they're not very compassionate, like they're not very understanding to a situation. And I'm sorry to say this, but this is a Pisces card. Riri is a Pisces. I don't know what Melissa's sign is. This might be Riri not necessarily being so understanding or patient with Melissa, because of the history that they shared, and the expectation that they probably had on each other in terms of loyalty may have not been met anymore. Maybe things started to feel one-sided. There may have been an imbalance in the effort, the sacrifices, and the emotional labor that each side feels they were putting into this friendship. Maybe Riri was used to having Melissa drop everything and be at her side for everything, anytime. And maybe there were moments where Melissa needed Riri to do the same, but she couldn't because she's so busy with her kids and whatever she's doing with, she has her Fenty Beauty, and, Rihanna does her stuff to get her coins, and she's building her family. So something's telling me there was an imbalance there where maybe Melissa felt that she was giving something that she wasn't getting. And so Melissa changed her role in the friendship in terms of, all right, I'm going to meet you where you are. You can't give me immediacy and priority or availability, then neither can I. And so maybe that's part of what caused them to grow apart. But it seems like emotionally, maybe Riri didn't have as much understanding, compassion, and patience for that. She probably expected Melissa to continue to be the one making more sacrifices and being there for her because Melissa probably doesn't have kids as yet, or doesn't have as many kids or as many demands on her. And that may be part of what caused any rift in their friendship, which again, it doesn't really seem like a huge blow up and separation, because if Donna Lane is correct in saying that Melissa was there to take pictures of Riri's new baby, then that's also a lot of access for someone that you no longer are friends with. So I would say that they must be friends if she has access to her like that. It's just not what it used to be. They're not as tight or close knit as before, since they're currently on different pages in life. And this didn't just suddenly happen overnight. It seems like their priorities gradually shifted over the years. And someone's not as available, invested, or as reliable as they used to be. So that changed the dynamic of the friendship. Let's get 2 more out here. Ooh, whoa, the tower. Yeah, I know I just said that things aren't that bad, but with this card, things just got really bad. Whatever beautiful friendship, relationship they built over all these years will crumble, because the tower card indicates a sudden disaster. A tower that was built, something that was heavily invested in, something of value, is going to be leveled to the ground. It's going to be a sudden calamity, a sudden disaster, something unexpected, because there was a weakness in the foundation. When you think about the way buildings or houses are built, the foundation is the most important. And if it's no longer a strong foundation, it actually needs to be brought down and rebuilt better and stronger. So this might be symbolic of their friendship falling apart, their friendship crumbling. And the bright side of that is that there's an opportunity to rebuild it better. So maybe it's just a matter of changing and adjusting the boundaries and the expectations between the two of them. So much has changed since we saw them when Riri was a teenager, always out having fun with nightlife and whatever fun events they used to frequent together. And we haven't really seen them together since. And maybe it's just a matter of adjusting the boundaries and the expectations to salvage whatever good they had in their friendship and rebuilding it within those parameters to adapt to their new lives. So it's an opportunity for things to start over and be better. Let's look at it that way, to be optimistic, because I would hate to think that they would just throw that all away. They were like sisters, right? And so for them to just fall out after all these years, let's hope that's not the case. It's just probably an adjustment period that they got to go through after someone steps away, figures out a change in priorities in their life that works for them, and then brings that old friend back into this new version of life and priorities. So let's take out 1 more card. Okay, so usually the World card in reverse indicates unfinished business. That could be interpreted as a negative, but in this case, it's a positive, because it's kind of repeating or echoing what I just said, that they're not done with each other. There's still an opportunity for them to rebuild and build back better. Not to use that political phrase, but build back better. They can build back better after this tower moment, Melissa and Riri can. So the World card in reverse indicates there may still be some attachment to the past. Someone is still working on completing a cycle or avoiding the end of a cycle, even if the end is near. So this means they could actually still salvage their friendship and have a full circle moment where, even though they started a certain way in their friendship and then they go through an adjustment period, they could still come back together under new terms, new expectations, as I mentioned before, and still complete the life journey or the relationship life cycle that they were meant to enjoy with each other. So I would say this is a positive card. They're not finished with each other, although there may be distance and adaptation to changes in priority, changes in the adulting life. It seems like there's still potential for them to reconnect, if not already reconnecting, and rebuild in a way that works better for both of them. So I'm happy to see it end on that note. What do you guys think? Were you surprised to hear about Melissa? I haven't heard about her in so long. I mean, maybe a decade, or I shouldn't say I haven't heard about her. I haven't seen the way we used to see Riri out with her all the time. I haven't seen them out in a long time. So thanks again, Donna, for bringing that tea. That was very interesting. And actually, I want to also pull a few cards out to know, will Riri give us new music ever again, or sometime in the future, or never? Is it a matter of time? How's she feeling about music? Let's shuffle the deck and get a few cards out for that. Spirit, will we see new music from Rihanna in the near future? Will we see new music from Riri in the near future? Or let me know what is coming for Rihanna, Spirit. Let's see. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. So we have here the Ace of Pentacles reverse, which indicates financial failure, missed opportunities, some sort of financial loss. So maybe this is saying that Riri's not very incentivized to continue doing music because it doesn't pay her as well as her other business ventures. Or this could also indicate a debt. Maybe she has to do more music to complete a deal or a debt, an agreement perhaps. Let's pull out a few more cards and see what they say. Wait, there was this stack. Let's see. These kind of fell out. Long-term choice. Yeah, let me see what did we have here. Working hard. And we have the Hierophant. Okay, this feels more like this is a part of this reading. I didn't get to finish shuffling them before, but okay. We have here the 8 of Pentacles. This is hard at work, sharpening one's tools, leveling up, getting one's skills up to par, getting things done work-wise. So it could be that Rihanna is hard at work on something. And then here we have the Hanged Man reversed, which indicates someone not wanting to relinquish control, not wanting to let go control of something, not willing or ready to sacrifice. So Riri may not be ready to do music, although she's busy working on other things. She may not be ready to pour into music because it may be a lot of work and not enough rewards, a lot of work and not enough of a payoff for her. So she's not willing to sacrifice her precious time as a mother of a newborn to go and do this music thing, especially if it's not even paying as well as what she already has going on, which makes a lot of sense to me. Let me see what else I had here. Okay. New passions, but we also have someone coming from the past that is... Okay, I see. So there's other things that Riri's passionate about with this Page of Wands. Let me just show you guys here. There's other things that Riri is passionate about that she would rather spend her time and efforts on that. But someone wants their payback. When I say payback, it's not retaliation. It's like, we had a deal. We need this money back. We need this investment back. What we invested in you, we need it back. Whether you release the old music, whether you re-release an existing album and just add a few songs. A lot of artists have been doing that. But this Knight of Swords is someone who is assertive, ambitious, driven to succeed. This could also be a change of lifestyle. But this is a energy that's very forceful and coming in hot and wants it their way. And because it's the Suit of Swords, the suit of logic and intelligence, it feels like this leans towards business. So while Riri may want to chill and enjoy her other passions in life, especially her family and her newborn, she may still have some obligations that she has to fulfill before she can get out of this agreement or resolve a bad investment. And then she can freely dedicate herself to those other things in life without ever having to worry about music again. So I say all that to say this reading indicates that Riri doesn't really want to, but she may have to at some point release music in some way. And she's probably going to work hard to do it in a way that is convenient for her, which may not necessarily be what the fans are expecting or wanting from her. They probably want like a big comeback with visuals and a tour and, you know, current music. It feels like most likely if Riri does release anything, that she would probably release old music or do like a Taylor Swift where you just release an existing album with extra stuff, a couple new songs bundled with merch and cute cover options and whatever, you know, however people are selling their music these days. So interesting. Maybe let me see. Let me choose one. Oh no, because we have it already. I had the decks already facing. I was going to try to see if we can have a sense of if this is going to happen sooner or later. But I'm just going to leave it at the Knight of Swords because this indicates... Oh, wait a second. There's an extra card. Look at that. So this is the 5 of Swords reversed. And this indicates a willingness to go along to get along after a series of conflicts where no one was really winning. Now there is an agreement to let bygones be bygones and come to a compromise in order to get on the other side of something. Alternatively, this could also mean reopening old wounds. So now I'm curious, since it comes after the Knight of Swords, because I was originally going to ask the cards, could we expect music from Riri relatively soon, or would this be later on? This indicates speed. This indicates that it would be sooner than later. But now with this card having a couple different interpretations, I'm going to pull one more card just to understand if the interpretation is about the agreement coming to a compromise, which is probably going to allow Riri to do things at her own pace, or if things are actually getting a bit hostile and they're rushing her, and that is causing this wound to be reopened, or this, how would you phrase it? Not a wound, but having to revisit that era of her life that she really would rather leave behind her. It may be a contractual obligation that she can't get out of. So let me pull one more card for that. I'm running out of space here. Let's see. I like to keep all my cards visible so I could refer back to them. Okay. Okay, Spirit. Could we expect... Oh, I did it wrong. Sorry, it's hard to shuffle without looking. I usually just look at the screen to make sure I'm staying in frame for you guys. So, now my cards are all over the place. Let me get it right. Okay. Okay. Let's go with another nice riffle shuffle. All right. Much better. Spirit, if Rihanna is releasing music, could we expect it sooner or later? And can I get a clarification on this reversed 5 of Swords? Okay. Ooh, wait a minute. Three of Cups reversed. So this indicates that something to do with socializing or a group, a community, it's not working out. So if we were to think about this in terms of relationships, it's like, oh, someone might be prioritizing their personal life too much over their other obligations, creating some sort of imbalance. Or this could also be someone's community or whatever group they belong to no longer serving them. The social group may have gotten too gossipy or negative or draining. There may be an overindulgence in socializing and personal life, or someone is feeling antisocial at this time. So now it's giving me the sense that the secondary interpretation that I had of this reopening a wound, basically the sense of urgency that Rihanna's business associates might have in connection to her music. They actually may be pushing for it. They actually may want her to take a break from her personal life and fulfill whatever obligations they have, because again, the Knight of Swords indicates a level of haste. He's about that action. Someone rushing, someone wanting to get it done with speed, with force. And this Five of Swords in reverse, instead of it being interpreted as a peace offering and compromise, we're looking at now as reopening wounds because of this Three of Cups in reverse, indicating some sort of problem with one's prioritization of their personal life or social networks. So I'll just pull out a couple more there. Wow, yeah. It's so interesting that every time I'm about to end a reading early, but then I keep going, I see so many cards that are like, wow, I'm glad I kept going to get a clearer picture, because the story really just began right after I was going to, cut it short thinking we already had the answers. But no, this Six of Cups in reverse indicates that something about the past is lingering, not in a positive way, because upwards the Six of Cups indicates nostalgia, someone thinking about their childhood, their past, their childhood home, or someone that they knew from the past, maybe even revisiting their hometown. But Six of Cups in reverse, we can take that same connotation with the past and just spin it into a negative. So someone is not remembering the past favorably. Rihanna probably does not want to return to the hectic schedule of being a musician, especially now that she's a mother of three with a newborn, and she finally has the daughter that she's always wanted for a while. So there seems to be a conflict of interest between what Rihanna wants for her life and what the demands or expectations of her business associates are. I'm just going to move this reading away, since this was about Riri and Melissa, so that I can make some space here. Okay, we are back after a quick interruption. So as I was saying, I was just making room for these cards here, since we got a bit more information, and I kind of want to pull a few more cards, since this is revealing a message that I wasn't expecting. But let's see, I believe I was asking, if we see new music from Riri, will it be sooner or later? But what I'm seeing is, sorry to say it, but a bit of dread, like Riri not wanting to return to that, even though there's financial obligations and agreements and expectations, business needs and expectations. It's something that Riri's kind of over that past or that chapter in her life and would like to focus on her new passions, her new priorities. She's reluctant. Ooh, wait a minute. Yeah, this came out in reverse. The Devil card in reverse indicates an ending of an unpleasant experience or recovering from one. This also means releasing limited beliefs and freeing oneself from attachments. So we can interpret it in the context of this reading to indicate this obligation from the past that Riri does not necessarily want to fulfill. She doesn't want to return to this unpleasant experience or toxic environment, but she'll be better off just getting it over and done with, to detach herself from that burden, from that expectation, from whatever negativity she associates with it. And it could also not be negativity. It could just be, again, a burden in terms of it not matching with where she is right now in her life in terms of her priorities. So the Devil card, usually it does indicate vices, attachments, bad habits, bad influences. In reverse, it indicates breaking free from all of that and getting into a space of recovering from that. So the sooner she does release the music and fulfill her contractual obligations, the sooner she'll be over and done with it and can move on to the phase of her life where she's free to just continue focusing on the things that she wants and enjoys. So it feels like she has to release music. We just don't know when. The people with business interest would rather it be sooner than later. So let's see if the cards can reveal anything else. Ooh, the Four of Pentacles in reverse. We're not giving her any more money if she doesn't fulfill this obligation. And some might think, well, since she hasn't done music in a long time, what does her music money have to do with her present day money, since Fenty seems to work independently, right? It's not connected to her musical career beyond her brand. But maybe there is a correlation. Maybe this is leverage. They'll withhold some finances, or they will remind her of a debt. And this indicates, the Four of Pentacles reverse usually indicates a level of greed and conservatism with money that's unhealthy. So whatever financial powers may be that have any control over Rihanna's current business ventures, they might leverage some of that in order to get her to do the music. And that's why, again, she'd be better off doing it sooner than later, so that she could break free from that deal, expectation, or contract. Let's take out. Ooh, yeah, oh my goodness. Look at the cards. Yikes. This is the last one I'm going to take though, because I really want to move on to some of the others. Oh my God. I kind of want to take this too. Wait a second. Okay. Not doing what she loves. Ooh, wow. It seems like the cards have a lot to say for Riri tonight, but I'm going to cut it here. So we have the Eight of Swords, which indicates someone being stuck or feeling trapped in a situation of their own doing. So in a reading like this most likely indicates a contract, which from the very first card, I've indicated that that was my interpretation. Riri has some obligation to fulfill, even though she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to return to that industry or lifestyle that she was once a super mega pop star in. But the sooner that she gets this done and over with, the sooner that she could move on to her more calmer life. Because here we have the Six of Swords. Now, the Six of Swords, yes, it's moving on from choppier waters to calmer waters. But also when we see the swords, this indicates someone carrying traumas, that even though you're leaving a painful situation or you're leaving regrettably, you still carry some trauma, some impact from that experience. You didn't want it to end this way. You would have preferred to make it work, but your hand is forced because whatever situation you're leaving, it was too toxic, it was too distressing to remain in. I also want to bring your attention to the image of a parent and a child here. You know, since Rihanna is very family focused at this time, being a mother and a nurturer seems very personalized to her. So in order to protect her family life, she's going to have to make some tough decisions to separate from something in a way that she didn't necessarily want to. I don't think it has to be that dark and heavy. It could just mean that she may have to do the music sooner than she would have liked to in order to get her family into a calmer lifestyle sooner than later. So interesting to see all of that. And I highlighted that because then we have the Empress card here, which indicates fertility. Babies. Riri is about her babies right now. She is a mother and she is enjoying all of her bouncing bambinos. She just had her first daughter, but that follows two sons. So she now has three. Maybe she's thinking about a fourth because this Empress card can indicate a pregnancy, but it also generally indicates abundance. So this could also mean a new album. Putting something out there into the world that was a labor of love, something creative, something that required confidence and nurturing. So either way, Rihanna will be giving us something, I would say, sooner than later, because again, the sooner that she frees herself from this, the sooner that she can move on to peace, calmness, and break free from whatever attachments and financial expectations, obligations, and demands are on her for this music. Just again, for the Riri Navy, don't expect it to be super fresh, cutting edge music. Most likely it'll be some older stuff from the past so that you could just get it done. Interesting. Wow, I didn't see that reading going in that direction. What do you guys think? Do you guys still even expect or want new music from Rihanna? Rihanna's songs are classics, right? Just fun to sing in karaoke. They still sound good in the club or the bars, wherever you guys are hearing music these days. I want you to love me like I'm a hot rod. That's the Riri song that just came to mind. All right. Well, since we just did a reading on Riri, let's follow up with Donna Lane's other requested reading on Chris Brown, Rihanna's very famous, very talented ex. If you guys like anything at all from these readings, please give me a like. As a small and new creator, it means so much. Thank you. Hearts. It really helps the channel and the algorithm to pick up my content and share it with other lovely, sparkly, illuminated viewers like yourselves. I wish you all abundance and illumination. May divine light radiate through your life. Keep shining.